The gentleman from Illinois is recognized for 5 minutes.
Mr. Speaker, we gather today to consider a question that is profoundly simple. Do we support the President's plan to further escalate America's involvement in Iraq or not? After 4 long, painful years in which we've seen so many young lives lost, are we now willing to put even more of our brave heroes in harm's way? Or will we acknowledge that the concurrent course is failing, that doubling down on the status quo while hoping for a better result would be foolish? There are those who oppose this resolution because they say it would hurt troops' morale. Hurt morale? Our leaders promised them they would be greeted as liberators. Instead, we've put them smack in the middle of a shooting gallery, policing someone else's civil war, backing an Iraqi government that refuses to stand up for itself. We sent our soldiers back time and again. We sent many of them without the life-saving equipment and armor they needed, and now they say this resolution would hurt troop morale? To suggest that more of the same just won't do. They've done their duty with courage and discipline. Now it's time for Congress to do its duty. They deserve not to be sacrificed in the furtherance of a policy that failed for the last 4 years. From the beginning, this war has been a saga of miscalculations, mistakes, and misjudgments for which America will pay in many ways for years to come. Let us not compound those bad judgments by ratifying another. The President assures us that this escalation of war is the most promising path to a more peaceful Iraq. For the past 5 years, we've accepted the President's assurances on Iraq, only to learn that the facts on the ground belied his aggressive assertions and rosy rhetoric. We accepted his assurances that the presence of weapons of mass destruction and Saddam's links to al-Qaeda. We authorized a war on that basis, only to learn that much of what we were told simply wasn't true. Against stern warnings, we accepted his assurances and those of the Vice President that a post-Saddam Iraq would welcome our presence and overcome deeply ingrained sectarian differences. It simply wasn't true. We accepted their assurances when they told us General Shinseki was mistaken when he said we needed far more troops to stabilize Iraq than the administration planned, and that the costs of this war would be minimal. It simply wasn't true. We accepted their assurances when they told us the insurgency was in its last throes. It simply wasn't true. Each of the last 3 troop surges has been countered with a surge in violence. It is for that reason that a bipartisan group of House members and the American public oppose the 4th troop increase. More troops doing more of the same is not a policy. It is not a strategy. It is not a tactic. It is the status quo plus. The time is past for accepting this administration's assurances at face value. The human cost of its repeated assurances is too great. Mr. Speaker, 3 years ago, I asked permission to establish a temporary memorial to the fallen in Iraq in Statutory Hall. The leadership at that time refused, so I began posting the pictures of the young soldiers we've lost outside my office. I've watched as that grim line of photo has grown past my doorway to fill the corridor. More than 3,000 dead. More than 20,000 wounded. When I walk by those photos, I see the purpose, I see the pride, and I see the promise in their young faces. They were sons and daughters, husbands and wives, mothers and fathers who will never see their kids grow up. I ask you, how long must this grim line of photographs grow before we acknowledge that this policy is not working? How many corridors must these memorials fill before we say, not on my watch? How many more lives must we lose? How many more hearts must be broken? It is time for this Congress to tell President Bush that his assurances are not enough. This escalation does not mean stability in Iraq. it will mean more loss and more photographs in the corridor. I urge you to vote yes on this resolution. I yield back the remainder of my time.